Welcome to Chapter 5, My Furry Life, the New York Furs Saga. Last chapter, I got my first ref sheet, and that's going towards my first fursuit. I forgot to mention that. But it is November 2009. Yes, 2009. And it's about to be MFF. And Ket is coming to New York for the very first time. And it's a very special occasion. I've been friends with him at this point for 4 years, so him coming to visit me is very special indeed. And bringing Ryu with him, and John is there, and Dream is there, and we all go to Times Square. We have a great time. Dream gets high for the very first time, and it's freaking hilarious because you know what he does when he got high? He takes this giant bottle of water and just chugs it, thinking that his high is gonna go away. Like that's how drugs work. But yeah, this is the greatest start to the best chapter in my opinion. So many things happened this season. A lot of full circle moments, a lot of people from the past coming back, and a lot of things that are introduced that pay off in the future as well. You know, a lot of cool people come in. We do so many great things. But yeah, this might be a little long. I'm gonna try to remember as much as I can and talk about as much as I can. Let's get into it. So after Ket comes, we go to MFF, and this is my very first Midwest Fur Fest. It's in Chicago. Never been to Chicago before. I mean, it's in the suburbs, so it doesn't really count. But it's in a different hotel than it is the one it is now. And Dream has his fursuit. Ket has his fursuit. And we go there and we meet up with Alpha Fox. If you remember last time I spoke to him on FA and I invited him to the con. So we were waiting for him to come all the way from London to this con, and he shows up and he's a really nice guy. He's really chill, very positive person. And, you know, we get along famously. And, you know, for the record, like nothing happened between us. Like nothing, no old feelings came about. We were just having a good time in person and getting to know each other and shooting the shit. It was really cool. It was really cool. MFF itself, you know, I had a little bit of FOMO once again because you know people were in fursuit and I wasn't, so I was the handler. I was the stuff. I was the person that carries people's stuff. And you know, I was a little bit lame, but I did have some good times there. There's a few videos on my YouTube channel, which I started around AC09. So from now on, you're gonna get a lot of videos about the stuff I talk about because back then I was recording everything, so much footage. So if you want to like go back and just see what I've done ahead of time, you know, feel free. My library has like, I think this might be the 100th video on my YouTube page actually, 100 or 99, can't remember. So we hit up a room party, you know, the knots. We meet a lot of furries before they blew up, like Doryu. I met Scroy at Fur Fright. Just a lot of people that are just very well known in the community today. This was like their origin story. I think Storm Husky was there too. But overall, MFF, my first one, you know, it was okay. It was a little boring. I actually thought about taking ecstasy at some point because someone, they, what's the word? Jesus, they offered it to me. And I was like, maybe. I was like, nah, I'm not that stupid or brave, whatever. That was MFF, and then we did the first Furmeet. So I believe Eris has told me about the NY Furs, and I got in contact with their admin at the time. His name was Sanser, and there was another guy named Fudo-chan, which was a hot mess. He was like only 15. This dude posted his asshole on Fur Affinity, bro. Posted a picture of his asshole, got permabanned. He's only 15 years old. He's a hot mess. He only showed up to like one meet. It was the second one, so he's not important. But Sans was like, yeah, you know, I could bring some of my buddies. You bring some of your buddies. So I invited them to my house. The official lineup for the first meet Actually, no, we actually did something before that. My mistake. When Ket was here, we like Pesky likes to refer to this as Meet Zero. See, there's like so much I gotta remember. So at the time, Fantastic Mr. Fox came out in theaters, so I thought it'd be a cool idea for Dream and Ket to check out the movie in fursuit. So we went. Erisys was there, Ryu, Pesky, and this other guy named Sylphine. Oh, and Ron came too. Ron came in fursuit. Wait, was he there? I'm pretty sure he was there. But he came and yeah, we had like this unofficial Meet Zero watching Fantastic Mr. Fox at the theater I worked in at the Regal Union Square. And it was cool because New Moon was coming out. So everybody was like, oh, this is a Twilight thing. We're like, no, it's not a Twilight thing. We're just goofing off, just shooting the shit, but whatever. But that was fun. But this meet with the admin from New York Furs was like the first official meet that I hosted. And it was at my house. And who came there? Ryu was there, Dream, Pesky. My cousin Chris was there for some reason. Sylphine was there. He was a fur that Dream met on FA, I believe. Erisys, Sanser, his friend at the time, J Fo, J Fox, where everybody called him J Fo, and this guy named Sundean, who I believe was Brooklyn. I don't remember how these people got invited. Oh my god, you see this shit? Wow. I think it's huge. Get off. Okay, so we ended up going to White Castle, and that's a video you can see on my YouTube right now. We took this trip to White Castle. Oh, Demona was there too. Soul girl furries. Only one girl furry at all meets. We went to White Castle, and it was a blast. I look back on that time as very nostalgic for that time where we're just going to places and just eating and shooting the shit, getting to know each other. It was very organic. It was so much fun that bring like that FurCon experience to my literal backyard and meeting these new faces, these new personalities. Like that was my favorite part of hosting these Furmeets because there were so many different types of people who would come and they would be shy like me or socially awkward and they're looking for friends just like I was. So to provide them a platform to meet new people and make new connections, that brought me a lot of joy. And I miss that, honestly. I miss bringing people together. I feel like that's my secret talent is bringing people together. And I miss that so much because through the New York Furs, people, they gain friendships, relationships, maybe, maybe professional job opportunities. I don't know. There was also drama. We'll get into some drama. Um, yeah, the meet went well, obviously. So we did a second one. It's like close to Christmas. We had more people this time. The first one was like 11 people. Now we had 16. So we went to bowling. It's another video you can watch. Brooklyn Furmeet 2. And Dream was dressed in fursuit. I think Ket was at this one too. And J-Fo was a Happy Tree Friend. So that was funny. It's getting curb stomped in the bowling alley. I met a few other people. Walker was there. Zephyr Hero. Mega Nova. Those people were like, mainstays for like the first year or two for this community. And again, we had a fantastic time. And we just kept it going. At that point, Fudo Chan was out as an admin for the NY Furs, and Sanser gave me and Dream the keys to the page on Fur Affinity, so that way we can host meets whenever we want, post whatever we want. I never asked for it; he just gave it to me, and I said, "Okay, I'll do this." I didn't have a reason to say no. My biggest ace in the hole was having a place where everybody could come back after the meet and just hang out. You know, at the time, living with my mom, she was cool with it. So my mom became like a celebrity in her own right because she would sometimes cook for us, and people would be like, "Yo, where's Frisky's mom at? Where is she at?" Like, I remember one time she came and everybody like applauded. I was like, "Yo, my mom is awesome. She is the best," and people I'm glad people showed her gratitude. So yeah, we kept that going, and then 2009 New Year's, Erisys found a party in New Jersey to go to. So this was going to be like my first official New Year's party. I just turned 20, and this was the first time I got drunk. I got drunk at this party, and it was so funny because I kept saying, "I'm not drunk." No, there's a video also on YouTube. You can check that out. New Year at Quentin's or Frisky and Kept the Drunk tour. Ket was coming to New York a lot because he was actually dating Pesky at the time. Those two were a very cute couple. I miss that couple so much. Like I shit them. They were, I don't know, they were adorable together. But it didn't last obviously. But when they were together, it was cute. And who else was there? So we got into a car, and all of us squeezed into like one car. Ron was there too, Pesky, Ryu. Like that's why I say like I assembled the cast for this season because they just kept showing up. We kept creating memories together, and it was a good. For my first New Year's, it was a party. It was great. People there were chill. Quentin was drunk. He kissed me on the mouth, which technically counts as my first kiss. A drunken gay man. Figures. So, like my first real one anyway. But what else did we do? I remember there was this one time Ryu and Pesky were racing on the BQE. They both had Mustangs, and it was like midnight. So there was no cars on the road. It's like the end of December, so people were on vacation already, and they were just racing. These guys were nuts, man. Like I just remember those days because I just remember having so much fun, and for the first time having a friend group, and it filled me with so much love and joy that I had people that wanted to hang out with me. You can't beat that, especially when I barely had any friends in high school. So I finally like found my people. I found my tribe. Like NY Furs was my thing, and that's why like I pushed so hard for it to be what it was, to be successful. And then we kept doing meets throughout 2010. And we went to Union Square. We went to Nintendo World, the Chinese New Year's parade. We went to the aquarium, which let me tell you, that's probably the meet I hate the most because as these meets continued on, people would sleep over my house regularly, and I'm like, okay, that's fine as long as there's space. But it got to a point where there's a lot of people sleeping at my house on a regular basis. Like sometimes they wouldn't take the hint. So before the aquarium meet, I had a friend from Boston come, so I decided I'm gonna sleep on the floor so he can have my bed. And then instead of that happening, two other people got in my bed and started like dry humping each other, and it kept me up all night. And at the time, I was too nice to say anything. Now I'd be like, "Yo, get the fuck out of my bed." Now I'd be like, "No one's sleeping in my bed with me." But I was so nice. I didn't want to rock the boat. I just was like, they're having a good time. Let them have my bed, whatever. But another thing that pissed me off about that meet was someone showed up to the aquarium without money. So I did the nice thing and I paid for his ticket. I'm like, I don't want you to be left out. Here you go. We're going to go to the aquarium and have a great time. And after every meet, we would do like a journal in the FA and my first page of what we did, who showed up, just for people to just like it really was Facebook, just so people could talk about their experience. And this motherfucker commented saying, "I don't understand why people were smiling and having a good time." Listen, I know there's people with social disorders out there or whatever, but how can you not fathom people smiling and having a good time? Like, I don't know what the hell this kid was smoking. And the fact that I paid for him made it even worse. I don't know what I said. I chewed him out. I was like, you ain't gonna come here talking that slander. I was pissed. But those moments were few and far between. The next meet was at Owl's Head Park, which is where I am right now, standing in the exact spot where we had our little picnic. We came here twice, actually. It's a cute park. It's not very well known, which I kind of like I like it like because it's very quiet and it's not never overcrowded. Like it's a beautiful day right now. There's barely anyone here, and I like it like that. So we did a little potluck, and we brought our own food. It was a lot of junk food, and there's also a video for that one. Brooklyn Furmeet 3. Yo Chill showed up to that one. I think that was might have been Springdale's first con. Springdale was wild. She was a pink crux, and she had a rock and roll lifestyle. She did whatever she wanted. She got a ticket because she was drinking in the park. Open container. Kibi Cat, I think that was her first one. Kibi Cat was a great person. We were very close. I found out many years later that she had a thing for me. And I didn't do anything about it because I was a pussy. And she thought I was like strictly into guys. But she was a lot of fun. Like she was only here for a few months and then she moved, but she left a big impact for sure. Um, and yeah, Yoshos came to a lot of meets. If I don't mention you, don't take it personally. There's a lot of people that came to these meets. A lot of people, and listen. I can't remember everybody. But if you showed up to one of these fur meets and I didn't mention you, I appreciate you for coming out. I hope you had a great time. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with us. Owl's Head was definitely one of my favorite ones. And then the Botanical Gardens was after that. They had a Cherry Blossom Anime Festival, which they stopped doing. I hate that they stopped doing that since the pandemic. Botanical Gardens was probably like where we peaked in terms of, I guess, attendance. But I don't know, like that was a very special one because so many, people came in costume and Dream brought his wooden sword, so we fought. I ended up hitting him in the head. You can see that footage on the Welcome to NY Furs video. Me hitting Dream in the head with a sword. Um, we were just goofing off, man. It's a great time. We were like doing Power Ranger poses because I believe that's when they were re-airing Mighty Morphin. So Power Ranger nostalgia was coming back, and I was like, yeah, man, I love fucking Power Rangers. So I was rewatching it during that time. So I was like putting me in the mindset for like things to do later on when I got the fursuit. The Botanical Gardens was like a classic for me, like 10 out of 10. I loved it. Then we went to Inwood Park, which is all the way at the top of Manhattan. We went everywhere. That was what made it special. We never did the same thing twice. We always found a new location to just hang out at, and then we would come to my house. Like that would be like the official like after party thing. Like whoever sticks around or they don't want to go home yet, we'll take the train together, just come to my house, play Smash, watch a bad movie or whatever. It was cool. And trying to think what else happened. I sent my ref sheet in to Mixed Candy. That's who I commissioned for my first fursuit. Commissioned it in February of 2010, and the Mona came through, and she edited out all the naughty bits on my ref sheet because if you saw it last time, it was very adult. So, and I sweetened the deal. She was open for quotes, and she was asking for unique designs. Unfortunately, my design isn't very unique. It's a standard gray wolf, which right now is unique because everybody's designs are off the charts. But at the time, it was a gray wolf with yellow eyes, and I was like, oh, how could I sweeten the deal? So she was into Digimon, and I had a spare Digivice. So I just said, hey, girl, I heard you into Digimon here. Sent her a Digivice. I don't know if that's what got me this spot, or, she just wanted to do my costume. Who knows? But I was supposed to get it, I believe, in October of that year, of 2010. But it ended up getting delayed to January 2011, which is fine because some people wait years for fursuits. I didn't have to. I only waited 11 months, and that's okay. Some people wait for years, especially now. They're so advanced and so expensive. Anyway, yeah. So NY First is going strong. We're on our 10th fur meet. We go to Governor's Island, and we're playing laser tag. Like these random people just happen to have a bunch of laser tag equipment on them. They see our group and they're like, "Hey, you want to join in?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's fucking do it!" So we play laser tag, and it's a great time. We also have our mascot, Wonder Bread Man. Me and Kiwi, I guess Dream. We were walking in the village. We were walking and we saw this plush piece of bread on the floor. I picked him up and I was like, "Oh, it's like adorable. He has a cape and everything." And I adopted him and became like the unofficial mascot for NY First because I would always bring him around and put him in pictures. This guy won't leave me alone. This guy, tension horror. Love bugs. Best part of summer. Wonder Bread Man was great, and yeah. What else did we do? Xerxes came to the Botanical Gardens meet. Xerxes definitely becomes a bigger character later on, but I love like seeing like season zero Xerxes because he was such a typical furry guy. He had the guitar, he had the plush wolf, he had the trip pants. We cut his ass about it all the time. He's a good sport. But yeah, and so we did Governor's Island, and then it was time for Anthrocon 2010, which is a whole story in itself. That could be its own video. Because guess who's going this year? It's Lobo and B, my old friends from F to F. And I know this because Pesky tells me he was still friends with them, or at least B. He was still friends with them, and he's like, "Yeah, they're going to Anthrocon this year." I'm like, "Interesting." So I devise a plan. Like, I want to meet them, but I don't want them to know it's me. So I adopt my first owner's last name, Soul Wolf. I'm like, I'm gonna call myself Soul Wolf at this con. You gotta call me that. I'm telling everybody, call me Soul Wolf. So call me Soul Wolf. So for this plan to work, uh, I got that from Music Soul Child. I always thought Soul Child was a sick name, so I was like Soul Wolf. And I was gonna dress up as a caveman because the theme was like prehistoric times. Um, I wanted to be in the fursuit parade so badly. Like I got tired of like looking at it. I'm like, I want to be in there. So I dressed up as a caveman. I think me and Kiwi put together this outfit and it looked great, man. Because at the time I was still losing weight. My hair was long; it was down to my shoulders now. I looked like a caveman, dude. It was like meant to be. And I think it was at the Botanical Gardens where I reached my goal. I was 180. I dropped 105 pounds. Like I started this journey at 285, and I was now 180 pounds, the lightest I've been in like over a decade since I was probably in grade school, or maybe grade school or middle school, hopefully. And that was amazing. I was ripped. I was ripped. 20-year-old me is like probably the best I ever looked physically in my entire life. You're gonna see some pictures. Don't worry. I was cut. I was cut up, bro. And I rocked the caveman, and I got into character, and I was like growling, and I was talking this. And Dream got his second fursuit named Bajaku. We always called him Kafumba, but he was like he fit the theme. It was like I don't even remember what the fucking first owner was. I think it was a Fulf, like a Tasmanian Fulf or something. He had a bunch of like weird markings on it. So he was like my pet. I'm like, come, rise, rise, Bajaku, attack! Like I put on some weird accent, and I put face paint on. Yo, my outfit as a caveman was banging. It was awesome. I was even running around barefoot at AC. So yeah, AC, man. A bunch of them when I first went to AC. It started at my house. We had like the pre-game party where we were all gonna take Megabus together, and I just like, yo, everybody sleep over my house. We didn't sleep. We instead we ran in the middle of the night like a bunch of idiots. We ran to White Castle and we had breakfast at the drive-through window. Literally sat down at the drive-through window and had breakfast. And we got there like 3 minutes early, so I waited. I'm like, I'm gonna wait here until 4. You're gonna serve me breakfast. So yeah, I remember all these moments like yesterday, man. It was such a great time. I wish I had that footage of us running. But then we broke night. Then we got on the megabus like around 7 or 8, and it was like 8 hours to Pittsburgh. And then we got there. We had a flag for the furry fursuit parade. It was a cool flag. Walger did the flag. Props to him. I know he did that. And I walked in the parade and I was like attacking people, and it was so much fun. Yo, Pesky was a shy guy. Yeah. Oh man, there's a video on YouTube, and when I first take Anthrocon, like all these videos are great. Every time I watch them, they give me so many great feelings. It's a fantastic time. I think that guy over there got mad at me because I showed the camera on him. Anyway, so I was undercover eventually. Who was in my room? First of all, there was like 8 people in my room. From what I can remember, I think it was me, Dream, Ryu, J-Fo, Nova, Demona, her boyfriend Zan, and somebody else. Oh, Pesky, of course. It was 8 people, and then somehow at the end of it, it was like 9. Like someone snuck in one night and just slept on the floor. I'm like, really? Never again. Never again. It's so uncomfortable. But when you're trying to do these things on a budget, you gotta like split. You gotta split the costs. Um, so yeah, and then Ron was there too. Erisys was somewhere around. This is when he was like starting to like grow apart from us because he moved to New Jersey. Whenever we see Erisys, it's always a good time. We always cut his ass. We love him. Who else? Yeah, basically everybody from like the cast of season 5 was there. We took this cool shot in the hallway. I'm like, yo, guys, it's the 100th episode. We gotta take a cast photo. And people were like, this doesn't make sense, but okay, let's do it. And yeah, I was happy. Ket was there too, because Ket showed up in New York a lot during that time. And Ryu. It was a special occasion. But yeah, I did meet Lobo and his boyfriend. And we hung out a few times. And I looked so different from when I met him initially. He couldn't tell it was me, because when I met him, I had short hair and a beard, and now I was 100 pounds heavier. Now I have long hair, 100 pounds lighter, no beard. So I carried it off really well. And it was just good to get to know someone that I've only talked to online, and I had these big feelings for. He changed a lot too. He had like really long hair and glasses. He was rocking. He was like a punk guy. So I was like, wow, man, he changed too. Very extreme. And yeah, it was really nice just to discover who this person was. And his boyfriend was cool too. I can't deny it. He was really funny. He did this one thing with the condom. He put it over his head and blew it up until it popped. And I was like, damn, I can't believe it. I actually like this guy. And I was happy for them. Legit happy for them. So eventually, at the end of the weekend, I pulled over to the side and I told him the truth. I'm like, hey, my last name is Soulwolf. My first name is Frisky. Like, surprise. And he was like, yeah, like I had a feeling it was you. But it wasn't awkward or anything. It was just like kind of mutual respect. Like, cool, man. It's good to meet you. I don't remember if he apologized for anything. But at this point, it's water under the bridge. Like, I can hold a grudge for a long time, but I think like 2 years is my limit on holding grudges on people because life is too short. And we enjoyed the rest of the con. We went to a room party. Pesky got kicked out for being underage. Got really drunk, started throwing shit. He doesn't want me to tell you that part. Oh man, AC 2010 was my favorite con experience ever. It's not even all of it. Like I met Ryan the Kitty and Bonius from F to F. They were dressed up as cavemen too. So it was like everybody at this con, man. It was pure magic. I saw the masquerade again. I saw the dance competition again. This was the year dance competitions were actually getting like legit good. Like the competition was heating up, and it wasn't just people flailing their arms around. Like, I mean, you still got a few of those, but this is where the beginning of like, oh shit, like these furs got talent. This era began with the dance competitions. On the last day of the con, Ron let me use his fursuit, so I fursuited for the first time, and I ate Lunchables in the dealer's end because I thought it'd be like a funny idea. I'm always coming up with random ideas to do at AC. You'll learn this next chapter. I just love doing random shit at AC, and yeah, Anthrocon 2010 was my favorite con experience of all time. Favorite. And it wasn't even over because after the con, Ket invited me, Dream, Ryu, and some of his buddies to a cottage in Ohio, like a lake house. And we had like a little post-con cool down where it was just like the seven of us. Scroy was there too. This girl named Kita. Um, Man, I forgot this other guy. He's like from the army. I think his name was Chad. I'm not making a joke. I think his name was Chad, but we call him like G.I. Joe because he was always wearing his uniform. And Diz, uh, this guy Ket was really feeling at the time. And we stood there, we played Nintendo 64. We cooked. We went to Cedar Point. That was my first time riding roller coasters. I just sat there and let it happen. That was my technique. I'm just gonna sit here and let it happen, and I loved it. And then by the third roller coaster, I was taking pictures of the view with my phone, and I got caught. They stopped the ride and they confiscated my phone. Whoops. But Cedar Point was great. I wish I could do that experience all over again. It was such a good time. I took a lot of videos from there, so I'm going to be posting them in the description. It's great times all around. And then I went to Ket's house for the first time. I met his sister. He took me to his ravine, and we just kicked it. It was like it felt like a full circle moment. Like after 5 years of finally going to this guy's house, meeting his family, and just seeing where he lived and where he's from, like he did earlier in the season. He came to my house. I went to his house. Really cemented our friendship, and reminded me like how this all started and why we're so close. It was beautiful. So that summer, when I got back, I kicked my fursuit training into gear, man. I was running 3 miles, no water, in the hot sun, 95 degrees, killing it. I was doing my workout. I did not skip gym day. Unless I was at a con, I did not skip the gym. I went hard, man, on the ab lounge, the weights. And when you see progress like that, it keeps you motivated to keep going, doing more. And I just wanted to look good for this fursuit because I was really pumped. I was amped. I was ready to get in the ring with these guys. I wanted to be a great fursuiter. Like that was my mindset for 2010. I was like, my fursuit is coming. My fursuit's coming. I gotta get into shape. Kept doing Furmeets. One of them was Pesky's farewell. He was moving away to college, which sucks because I feel like he just got here and he's made such an impact on my life and everybody else's. He took me to my first rave in Washington Heights. It was like under a bridge, and then the cops came and we had to run. Awesome. Got Dream super high. One of my favorite videos I've done, Dream Sees the Universe. He is stoned off his face. Priceless. And yeah, we did a barbecue for him on Staten Island. We took Dora the Explorer. We took a pinata and we just roasted it. I think we found it and we threw it on the grill. And yeah, man, that was a perfect send off for him and his new journey. It's definitely gonna be missed. But losing Pesky, we actually got someone in return. We got this fur from Pittsburgh named TDK. And we like to joke oh, he's Pesky's replacement because he's wild and loose just like him. He's coming up here for college, so it's like he got race swapped. But no, TDK, he's not Pesky's replacement. He's a fucking awesome dude. Oh, he knows how to get things lit. He especially with Georgie, TDK definitely becomes a big character going forward, and just a good friend. I miss that son of a bitch. Me, Xerxes, and Pesky have a group chat on Telegram called the Cipher, which is short for the Persecution Cipher. And I miss all of them. Yeah, chapter's still not done. Yeah, so Pesky leaves, and then guess who comes back into my life? After 2 years, I don't know. I think I reached out to her. She reached out to me. Twilight comes back, and she's like, "Hey, I was in a rough spot. It was a bad relationship." I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Come on, come to New York. Let's hang out. Let's have a blast." And she's like, "Sure." So Twilight comes to New York, and I show her around. We go to Times Square and all those places. I think we actually went to Trump Plaza. There's a picture of us in there. Not because of, we thought it looked cool. We're like, hey, let's go inside. It's funny. I still got those pictures of her in Times Square taking photos. That was a great moment. I took her we went to a barbecue in New Jersey. or Furby as they're called. And yeah, we're kicking it, man. Like this was the chapter where we just it was always a barbecue. I remember Jake Blue Paul invited us to a barbecue in Long Island. This is before Pesky left, and me and him, we were just drinking all night. We broke the night, and he was up already 24 hours. He was staying up another day, and then that one particular moment, that one particular day, Dream was on a trampoline and he tried to do like a Mario move, like a triple jump, and he landed on a piece of metal and he like opened his leg up. It was so gross. JFO went with him to the hospital, and I was like, "Yeah, let's party, let's continue." So that was another thing, and this New Jersey one was different. Yeah, I was just happy Twilight was back in my life, and I told her, just everything, like what I've been through. And I told her my situation with Ron. I'm like, hey, like, I really like this guy, but he's not being unreciprocated. He's not reciprocating my attempts to woo him. And she was giving me advice. I'm like, don't give up. I'm like, all right, I got you. Got you. Twilight's the best. It's the best. So I didn't give up. And what I ended up doing, I invited him on an official date. I'm like, hey, Ron, like, I know we're doing things and messing around, but, why don't we try to do a date and see what happens? At this point, it's been like a year since I've known him. But he agreed. He's like, okay. And I think it was like his birthday or something. So we went to see Alpha and Omega, that really shitty CGI movie. We went to see that, and then we went to Applebee's, so romantic, in Times Square, and then we went to see The Lion King on Broadway, and I paid for those tickets. I paid for them. And it was a wonderful time. I think it was my first official date. First official date with anybody. And I went all out because it could be my last. Why not go all out? And I wanted to make a good impression. And we ended up going back to my house, and I asked him if I could have a kiss, and he was like very hesitant, and I tried, and it didn't work out. And I was just like, you know what? It's okay. So I just went to bed with a bunch of really, really frustrating emotions inside of me, and I ended up writing this story about my old pre-fandom self talking to my new happy fandom self. And he was supposed to be like a representative of all my negative emotions throughout the years of how I've always been rejected and people let me down. And, I was like, no, there's still good in people, you can't give up on them. And it literally turns into a fight. It was inspired by Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is like one of the best movies ever made. I call them Nega Frisky. So I was fighting Nega Frisky. I even like put a soundtrack to it. And that's a story you can read below if you care about that stuff. I skimmed it before I did this video, and I was just like, oh my god, I was like rolling my eyes. But I will say that as a writer, I think the dialogue was pretty decent. Corny, yes, but at least I had proper spelling. But I understand it was an important thing for me to write because I was losing hope, and just being rejected like that on that scale really rocked my foundation a little bit. So I needed to write it for myself to get over it. Because I wasn't really writing that many songs at the time. I was just so busy doing Furmeets and training for my fursuit. So this is where I put all my creative energy into. Hot bugs. And the last thing to mention, I did my duct tape dummy for my fursuit. And Dream found the new guy to hang out with. His name is Pichu, aka P Money. That's the first time I met him. Awesome dude, awesome. And he helped me with my duct tape dummy. It's process where you have to like stand like this, put your arms out, and they literally wrap your body in duct tape. They cut you out, and they send it to the fursuit maker to make the fursuit around the mold. That's basically it. From then on, my focus was on my fursuit. I'm like, nobody's gonna distract me. I'm gonna be the best fursuiter ever. Wow, that was a long video. If you guys sat through it, I really appreciate you. I hope you're having a wonderful summer. I know I am. it's going really well. And I can't wait to see you guys next time because next time I'm getting the fursuit, baby. Bye.